Here we are, guys. The Men of Yoshiwara, Kikuya, Chapter 12, like a final farewell. We are getting close to finishing this game. It's very exciting. And yeah, if you missed the last episode, nothing happened. I mean, okay, I reunited with this guy while he was in jail and we kissed. I mean, that was about it. So, he didn't miss much, but let's continue. Let's get into it. Oh, and I'm Bradley Overrated, by the way. Like my channel and subscribe.
We looked at each other's flushed cheeks, and then Hayato brought his lips closer. This time we kissed each other softly.
It's an emotional reunion. Thank you, Takao. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me.
Takao smiled at us gently, and it felt so comforting. Hayato must have felt the same because he started to smile too.
But what about Kikuya? I'm sure Iroha is furious. He didn't seem that mad.
Yeah, Iroha treated me so nicely. Everyone in Kikuya is so kind.
Yeah, you're right, but don't you think Iroha's scary?
Him?
Yeah.
But why? I never thought of Iroha as scary before.
I see. I guess you're right. I'm in his debt, so what am I saying?
Hayato looked a bit regretful.
It's only natural to feel anxious when you can't see anything around you.
It's alright, Hayato. Everyone at Kikuya is worried about you. They're all very concerned.
I'm so thankful, but I don't want to cause them any more trouble. It's alright. You haven't caused any trouble before this, so one time should be enough. I'm sure you won't be punished. But we need to protect with caution. Proceed with caution. I swear, you two are like two peas in a pod.
Huh?
Is there something similar about us? I'm sure you haven't noticed because it's part of your personality. Tell me, what's similar about us? For one, the way you two are so curious about everything. You're both kind, earnest, and don't like to rely on others.
Hayato and I looked at each other and then tilted our heads. Am I like that?
Am I like that too? You two really are, like real siblings. Aw, oh, don't say that, gosh dang it!
I felt happy and embarrassed at the same time. Because he's my big brother after all, and I just kissed him. My cheeks began to feel slightly warm.
But, time's almost up. Already?
We were finally able to see each other again, but our time together was almost over. It was painful and rough. I clenched my teeth together.
Sneezy.
Hayato called out to me, sounding defeated. He held my arm tightly and looked at me. His eyes entranced me, and our eyes interlocked.
Listen to me. I just want to make sure, but don't tell anyone what had actually happened. We were unfortunate because the daughter of a wealthy merchant was one of the elopers. That's why the patrol supervisor is trying to hunt down anyone involved. It doesn't sound like this is going to end well. Yeah, so don't do anything, Sneezy. And make sure never to talk about the truth, okay? Do you understand, Sneezy?
Yeah.
Okay, good girl.
He petted my head, but I hadn't promised him anything. I would probably take action.
So much for that.
It might betray Hayato's feelings, but I might end up telling someone what had actually happened. Hey Hayato, I have one more thing to tell you.
What? I hope it's not something sad.
Don't worry, I wanted to tell you about Takao.
Takao?
Hayato looked over at Takao, but he quickly looked at me again. I know for a fact that Takao hadn't snitched on us to Iroha.
Huh?
He couldn't have done it because he's such a good person. He's always willing to help us out.
Sneezy.
Please understand, Takao's really important to you, isn't he? Hayato smiled gently. He then wrapped his hands around my cheeks and softly caressed them.
I knew that for a while now.
Huh?
Takeo isn't the type of person that would go around spreading rumors. If I thought about it calmly, I would have figured that out immediately. I'm such a fool. I doubted him for a moment that day.
Then you trust him now?
Of course I do.
Woo!
I've known Takeo for a long time, but not as long as I've known you. I should have known what kind of person he was, but when it comes to things about you, my field of view gets blocked. I should fix that bad habit of mine.
Hayato! He smiled gently like a shy young boy, but it was a very somber smile. It felt like Hayato was about to disappear any second now. His face looked so empty.
It's time.
We held each other's hands tightly. I said, Hayato, goodbye.
It's almost like we'll never see each other again. Sneezy, don't be reckless.
Yeah, same to you. We let go of each other's hands. It reminded me of the times we parted at the front gate. I felt so much lonelier now than those times. I was frightened, helpless, and sad. I loved him. Maybe. During all these years, ever since I was a kid, I'd been in love with him all along.
Sneezy. Let's go.
The front of the building was getting louder. It was time for us to leave. Hayato, I love... Without delay, he let go of my last finger. We exited through the back before I could finish my last words. We returned to the pleasure district. I went back home in a daze. What should I do now? No matter how much I thought about it, I couldn't come up with an answer. But if it's possible, I want to see Hayato again tomorrow. That was all I could think of. It was the least I could do. I grabbed my sewing kit and began making a good luck charm. Where did I get the word loud from? My bad. Please, I prayed that nothing bad would happen to Hayato again. When I was young, I tried making a good luck charm, even though I hadn't known how. At that time, Hayato had been sick and had suffered a high fever for 3 days. I'd pricked myself over and over. I'd been worried that Hayato was going to die. I'd cried while making it, and I'd cried when giving it to his mother. Now that I think about it, after recovering, Hayato was always in perfect health. I remembered that he'd always kept that crappy charm on him. Hayato really cherishes his possessions. He'd even remembered the comfort candies that I'd loved. He made sure not to run out of it, and had continued buying even though I wasn't there.
These candies were especially sweet. I'm sure you'll love them.
I'd opened my lips and had let him feed me the sweet, sweet candies. My lips had become hot after he touched them. I'd been nervous and couldn't figure out the flavor.
How does it taste?
I hadn't been able to tell him my thoughts even after he'd asked me that. After that, we'd made a pinky promise. I'd promised to take the valuables.
Pinky promise.
It had felt so nostalgic. It had been a gentle and sweet promise to bind and protect me. My first time to Yoshiwara and the day I'd been reunited with Hayato. It had only been a few days ago, but it felt like it had been ages ago. It had felt like our years apart hadn't changed anything, but the day we'd been reunited at the Inari Shrine.
The moon looks incredibly pretty tonight, don't you think? It feels like something wonderful is about to happen.
It had been so many years since I'd seen Hayato. He'd matured wonderfully into a beautiful courtesan. He'd fascinated me. On that gorgeously charming night, my beloved Hayato had become a nighttime butterfly. Nevertheless, he hadn't changed on the inside. He was kind, innocent, and earnest.
I never thought I'd see you again so quickly. You don't have to look so sad. You should laugh because you become so pretty.
He caressed my head and cheeks softly. I had cuddled close on my beloved's warmth. My heart had been filled with joy, and that was when I'd started going to the Pleasure District.
Sneezy, you need to get up soon. You never were a morning person.
The morning after we'd slept in some futon, he'd sounded so embarrassed.
I wish we could stay like this forever.
I'd always dreaded leaving him, but I'd always been excited to see him again. Hayato hadn't liked that I'd been going to the Pleasure District, but that was the only place we could meet. There was nothing I could do about it. Later, I confessed to Hayato that I'd helped 2 runaways.
It's recapping the game. We're really close to the end. But that doesn't account for your feelings. If I were standing in front of that couple, I'm sure I'd forget about logic and help them too.
That was what he told me while I regretted my actions.
No problem. I'm here to protect you. I'll always keep you safe, no matter the situation.
He'd said those words to me when I'd been scared. And all the while he protected me just as he promised.
Sorry, I was getting a drink.
I'd been the one who hadn't kept my promise. Hayato had told me to keep the valuable items safe, but I'd planned on having Kikuya hold them for me. And then Hayato had been arrested. After sewing the last stitch on the good luck charm, I let out a deep breath. I realized I was crying and gently wiped the tears away. My mother started speaking to me right after that moment.
I forgot the mother's voice. Okay, I'm just gonna change it.
Sneezy, do you know where the sewing kit is? My door suddenly opened. Oh, sorry, Mom, I was using it. I quickly tidied up the sewing kit. My mother came into my room without making a sound. Is that a good luck charm? Oh, yeah, this is... You made one in the past, too. That one had been for... Hayato. Yeah, that's right. He'd been really sick that time, right? What's wrong? Why are your eyes red? Her gentle voice made me cry. I was surrounded by such kind people. And yet What's the matter? I told my mother about everything that had happened. I'm sorry, Mom. So that's what's happened. I don't know what to do anymore. My mother grabbed my shoulders tightly. Sneezy, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. You haven't helped any runaways. Huh? That was something that had happened in your dreams. You've never done something like that, do you understand? But you need to tell yourself that you haven't done it. If you can't promise me that, I can do something about this mess. Huh? What are you talking about? The patrol supervisor is an old acquaintance of mine. I might be able to do something if I have a talk with him. That shocking fact was right next to me this entire time. My mother and I headed to Yoshiwara. We might be able to do something. Hayato might be set free or we could be together again. I felt impatient as those fleeting expectations filled my heart. And then...
Chapter 12 ended. Alright. Oh, excuse me. We're right there at the very end of this game. We have to be. We had a recap of the events that happened in the game. That's usually the sign that you're at the end. So I think, like I said, there's only 13 chapters. Getting close, guys. Getting close to seeing if I live happily ever after, which I don't care. I wanted to get laid, and I didn't get laid. It's a game about a bunch of courtesans, for crying out loud, and I never got laid. Come on. Alright, but that ends it for me. Once again, I'm Bradley Overrated. We will finish this out really soon, guys. Really soon. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.